Hello everybody, Kaysha here. So today I have a very important and special request for each and every one of you. So as many of you know, I'm actually the first year of Gen Z. I'm 27 years of age. And my father, Dale Richardson, actually recently announced that he's going to be running for MLA in Saskatchewan, Canada. And I want to suggest to you why it's important for you as a young person to get involved in politics in Saskatchewan and support the Buffalo Party and my father, Dale Richardson. So right now it seems that we, for the last 4.5 years, I guess you could say even longer, have had people in office who have not done anything for we the people. You can look at this example from the political persecution people are getting, religious persecution, the school system and the filth that they're rolling out on the children. You can see this in the economy and the countless Canadians who are becoming homeless and losing their jobs. Veterans, doctors, and nurses not being able to support their families, regular, average, everyday people, middle class people, not being able to even buy groceries for their family. Our liberties are being infringed upon. People are being unlawfully arrested and put in jail for trying to stand up for what's right. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my father. So the last 4.5 years, my father, Dale Richardson, and I've actually been exposing the improper contagion mitigation for the COVID pandemic since early 2020, actually. My father's mechanical engineering technologist with a bachelor degree in technology, and I myself worked at a maximum security prison and hospital for the criminally and mentally insane in Saskatchewan, Canada, at Saskatchewan Hospital. It was split between two halves. Now, after we exposed all of these things, we were egregiously persecuted. We lost our home, our corporate assets, our cars. My little sister was taken at 16 months of age. We haven't seen her in 4.5 years. We lost all of our resources and assets. Bank accounts were even shut down. My father and I tried to take various agencies to court, including the RCMP and the Saskatchewan Health Authority, which is the provincial governing body for my provincial prison. And before we were able to get into court that day on July 23rd, 2020, we were unlawfully arrested. My father was taken to the Battlefords Union Hospital and tortured, strapped to a table, and drugged against his will for 3.5 weeks. I was taken to my facility that I work at Saskatchewan Hospital on the prison end, and tortured. After we were released, my father told me, Kaysha, you know what? You're an American Indian. You're covered under the Jay Treaty and Article 6 of the Constitution. Any treaty ratified by the Senate, it's the supreme law of the land. And he said, go over there. It'll be better for you. You'll have more freedom and you can get away from some of this mess while I fix it. Well, I did go. And when I went to the border on October 1st of 2020, DHS decided to grab me. All of my travel documents, tried to conceal them as well, and sent me to an immigration detention center and put me through immigration proceedings. I ended up getting out on March 31st of 2021, but I was forced under an American supervisor program where I was forced to live with single American men, and I was put on full surveillance tracking. I couldn't leave the city, state, or my house without permission, and I was fully restricted. I couldn't do anything. At that point, I was then trafficked around the United States, forcefully drugged, beaten, held at gunpoint, and repeatedly sexually assaulted. Nobody did anything in government, not on the Canada side, not on the American side. But despite that, my father and I have continually fought for the last 4.5 years for people who were suffering just like us in these situations, who have lost their homes, who are politically or religiously persecuted, whose children were stolen by the courts, who were forced to take an experimental jab that had nothing to do with them or their family and was not in the best interest of them, for people who were forced to lose their jobs and, made destitute. He's continually filed in court on both sides of the border, all the way up to the Supreme Court, to try and get justice for we the people. Right now we have people in office who are doing a lot of talking, but they're not doing a lot of action. We need people who are going to take action. You might be listening to this and saying, Kaysha, what does this have anything to do with me? Well, I'll tell you right now, if they take liberty from one person, they're going to take it from everybody. And it's about high time we stand up and do something, because I, for one, know that I need to look my kids in the face in the future and tell them I did my best. This is not the Canada I grew up in, and it's not the Canada I want to pass down to my children. And I think you would agree. We're at a point in time that is crucial. I tell people all the time that God created us for a purpose greater than the sum of our experiences. And my father raised me on Isaiah 58, that it is our Christian duty to help the fatherless, the widow, and the oppressed. The only way that we can create the circumstances for the success of our communities, our homes, our children, our schools, and our churches is if we work together and unite in a time such as this. We have to do what's necessary and do our duty. We have an opportunity right now to make the change that we all want to see. We have the opportunity to be that change. We just have to seize it. God has given us a time. We cannot let this opportunity pass us by any longer. My father has shown the last 4.5 years that he's going to make a change, because he's been making every step to do so. He's built the foundations for it to happen. At this point in time, I'm asking that you go out and vote for Dale Richardson for MLA in Saskatchewan so that we can get our rights preserved. At this time, I'm asking that you go out and support Dale Richardson for MLA in Saskatchewan.